All right, there's a lot more people than I anticipated. A little nervous. Any friendly faces in the audience? Anyone I know? Oh, yeah, Terry is here. Hey, Terry, how you doing? Thanks for the support. I'm Nils. I'm with Auki. We work on making the physical world accessible to AI. And we're doing that because we believe that things are about to get weird. Over the next 10 to 20 years, I believe quite strongly that civilization will grow to over 100 billion productive economic participants. Most of them will be AI. And as a result of this huge growth, I believe that we're going to see the world economy grow by maybe as much as 10x in the next 20 years. In fact, I think that might be a little bit conservative. For those of you that don't know, over the last 20 years, the world economy already grew by 3x. I was born almost 40 years ago, and the world economy has grown 10x since I was born. So you only really have to believe that AI will help us move about 3 times as fast for us to 10x over the next 10 to 20 years. I think we're going to hit that pretty quickly. But of course, you see on the graph that something happened in the early 2000s. And what happened was that software ate the white-collar world. Almost all white-collar work now is done in front of a computer. It's done with phones. Desktops, laptops, mobile phones have been hugely transformative for all kinds of white-collar work, but 70% of the world economy is still tied to physical space and physical labor, meaning that the AI revolution can't really kick into gear until we teach machines to perceive the world. So what happens next? The robots are coming, the glasses are coming. In fact, these glasses, weighing only 40 grams, capable of spatial awareness, made by a company called Mentra.glass, are launching in September this year. About 10 years ago, Naval Ravikant wrote a blog post about what he thought would happen in the near future with AI and robots. This is 10 years ago. And in this blog post, he argued that machines and AI are going to need to be able to coordinate with each other in the physical world, exchange information with each other in the physical world, and even buy data and resources from each other. One example that he used was that self-driving cars would need to be able to negotiate with each other how to handle things like lane merges. And he believed that nano-transactions would help facilitate this. I'm willing to pay a cent to go before you in traffic, etc. And at the time, I lived in Beijing. So this really resonated with me because Beijing is a pretty big city. In fact, Beijing is so big that there are more cars on the road in Beijing than there are people in Los Angeles. And the average commute in Beijing is a cool 2 hours by car. So if you do a quick back of the napkin calculation, you will find that roughly the time it took to build the pyramids are lost in Beijing traffic every single week. When we teach machines to coordinate with each other, there's enormous potential that can be unlocked to make the world run faster. Have you ever noticed that at a red light, when it switches to green, not every car starts moving at the same time? There's this little chain reaction, and because of that, if you're far enough back, you'll miss the green light. But in a world where the cars are coordinating with each other and they can all start at the same time, traffic will flow more smoothly. What Naval missed in this very influential essay is that it's not enough for the cars to be able to exchange value with each other. They need to be able to communicate with each other about the physical world. They need to be able to express where they are physically with great precision and with low latency. Because if you're a car moving at 100 kilometers an hour, you move pretty far in 10 milliseconds. And the GPS is only accurate to a couple of meters. So one of the things that Naval missed is that we're going to need something to replace the GPS. Let me explain why by sharing some more Asia scale stories. By a quick show of hands, who's visiting from outside of Asia? Nice. Okay, these next few minutes are for you. Strap in. So, New York is the biggest city in the West by a pretty wide margin. New York has over 900 buildings taller than 100 meters. A problem with that is that GPS is actually a line of sight technology, meaning when you're in an urban canyon, when you don't see the sky clearly, the GPS gets very imprecise. Height-wise, the GPS, even when it is precise, is 20 to 50 meters off. So your GPS now has no idea that you're sitting in that chair, doesn't know you're on this floor. In fact, GPS doesn't work indoors, full stop. So if you live in New York, you will have noticed that the GPS can be a little bit challenging to use to navigate. But I live in Hong Kong. New York has 900 buildings taller than 100 meters, biggest city in the West. Hong Kong has over 4,000 buildings taller than 100 meters. And Hong Kong is just the bottom right of this picture. This is the Greater Bay Area, home to 87 million people in an area smaller than Greater Los Angeles, about 2/3 the size of Greater Los Angeles. And in this picture here are more high-rise buildings than all of North America and all of Europe combined in this photo right here, or this illustration right here. So in China, in Hong Kong, we are really struggling with the GPS. And it turns out that robots have almost no use for the GPS at all. Terry doesn't even have a GPS. It's not going to help him very much. So the question is, what comes after the GPS? Machines need to learn how to perceive the physical world and communicate about the physical world. They need spatio-semantic perception. Spatio-semantic meaning spatial, that they understand how far away things are, the depth of things, and semantic meaning they understand the thingness of things. This is a bicycle, don't hit that. Robots need this, your AR glasses need this, cars need this. And to kind of understand what's missing for the AI revolution to really kick off, I want to talk a little bit about humanoid robots. I believe that the final software stack of humanoid robots needs 6 layers of software. You need models for locomotion, the ability to walk around. Today, robots can't even walk stairs. That's why Terry didn't join me on stage today. He can't walk up the stairs. But locomotion is most of what we've seen humanoid robots do. They can walk, they don't fall over. Does that mean we can put them to work? No. We also need models for manipulation, the ability to grab things, pour things, push things, move them around, and very little work has been done in manipulation so far. But if you had a robot that could do locomotion and manipulation, could you now ask it to go water all the plants in your home? Still no. You need a spatial semantic perception layer so that your robot can understand the difference between watering your plant and watering your cat. And you don't want the robot to just be bouncing around your apartment looking for plants. It needs to have a map of your apartment and know where the plants are. And it needs to be able to communicate with other robots that you have and other devices that you have if these things have moved around. And it also needs to understand where it is in relation to the map. It needs a positioning layer. And finally, you need an applications layer to tie all of these things together. When these 6 things are in place, that's when we'll see humanoid robots really start doing work. At Auki, we focus on number 3, 4, 5, and 6. We focus on collaborative perception, collaborative mapping, collaborative positioning, and applications that allow for multi-robot, multi-device orchestration. And we realized back already in 2019 to 2021 that the phones that you have in your pocket are spatial computers, just like robots are. In fact, they're kind of robots, but they don't have arms and legs. So we don't even have to worry about locomotion and manipulation. We can start building early on the perception, mapping, positioning, and applications layer. 2 weeks ago, Auki closed its first multi-million-dollar account with one of Europe's largest retailers, where we use this legless, armless robots, your phones, to help the retailer capture the reality on the ground, to know where are their products actually, not according to some plan, but where did you actually place them, so that they can get heat maps for the first time of how things really are performing. We allow them to make easy digital twins that they can maintain just using their daily tasks. And once you have that, they can use AR navigation, both for their staff and for the shoppers. For the staff, we've reduced the walking distance for click and collect orders by as much as 40%. And this is possible because we have taught multiple devices, multiple phones, to collaboratively create an understanding of the space. Early in the process, it looks something like this. This was stitched together from 100 separate video data streams. 100 separate video data streams stitched this together. And when that is in place, you can use your phone to create these heat maps, to do AR navigation, etc. But also very soon, we're releasing this together with Mentra. These glasses plugged to a battery pack that allow the glasses to stream video for over 9 hours. And that gives us something cool. We can skip the locomotion, because I'll be doing that, right? We can skip the manipulation, because I'll be doing that. But we will get AI perception. The AI will be able to look through your eyes, through this camera, for a whole shift. It will be able to update the map and keep track of where things are, and collaboratively position all the assets, resources. So you get this full stack, minus the locomotion and manipulation. We jokingly call it hybrid robotics. There's a lot you can do with AI if you let the humans do the manipulation and the locomotion. We believe that the most important thing that we can do right now at the dawn of AI is that we must make the physical world accessible to artificial intelligence. This means that we have to deal with things like visual positioning, allowing the camera to understand where it is in space. The problem with that is visual positioning systems are a deal with the devil. Because what they do is they take what you're looking at and they compare it to a model of the world to find out where you are, which means you're quite literally telling the visual positioning system what it is you are looking at all times. Last year, Elon Musk went on the Lex Fridman podcast and said that his humanoid robot is going to be the greatest source of data in the world. Not the biggest consumer of data in the world, the biggest source of data in the world. Elon will know what your robot is looking at all times. The makers of AR glasses like Niantic, they will know what you're looking at all times, unless we decentralize the visual positioning stack, which is what Auki is working on. We believe that the internet itself needs a new universal spatial computing protocol that will allow venues to self-host their visual positioning system without sharing any of the data with us or anyone else. The idea is if you walk into this conference center, for example, the conference center already knows you're here, you're on the CCTV cameras, but there's no reason for me or Mark Zuckerberg or Elon to know that you're here. We can reduce the privacy impact of visual positioning by decentralizing the stack. Instead of making one big map of the world, like Niantic and Google and Tesla are trying to do, we allow each venue to make its own map, its own hyper-local reality, and we create a protocol that permissionlessly allows devices to visit and borrow that map, even contribute to the map, and be rewarded for it, sensing and mapping as a service. This is called decentralized physical infrastructure networks. The idea that the physical infrastructure necessary for this kind of spatial computing is not placed in one big cloud somewhere. It's hosted with the different venues that you visit. You can see it live at our booth just outside. We're demoing a lot of cool things today. And we believe that DePIN will essentially become the decentralized nervous system of AI. It's how AI will be able to perceive the world, know what's happening, and reason with each other to kind of fulfill Naval's vision of robots communicating with each other. DePIN allows us to deploy civilization-scale infrastructure that is funded, owned, and operated by the people themselves. We believe that DePIN is a software upgrade for capitalism itself that allows us to get rid of the pernicious surveillance capitalism that gave us the moral depravity, honestly, of the surveillance that comes with Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. So, I only have about a minute left, and I want to use the last minute to practice my Chinese homework, but come to our booth and chat with us about what happens next. Will you guys humor me for a 1-minute pitch in Mandarin? All right. So for those of you that didn't understand me before, 我们是一个香港的创业公司。我们公司的目标是让 AI 和机器人理解现实3D 空间。因为今天 AI 最大的问题是他们无法理解我们最具生产力的地方。根据世界银行，全球70%的经济仍然依赖于物理空间，可是 AI 无法理解物理空间。I'm Nils. I am the CEO of Auki Labs. We are just outside. We are demoing collaborative perception, collaborative mapping, the whole works. You can try it on your phones just outside. Please come to our booth and chat with us about what happens next. Thank you.